gonna do it. I'm gonna let it happen naturally. I really should have had that on the first time. That was stupid. What is up, guys? Welcome back. Another episode. We're doing a little more work to Yoshi. Getting her ready for comp. Putting my dual hydro. I'm putting my dual calipers in for my hydro. Actually, you want to grab that out of the trunk real quick? So we have a nice chase bays and Willwood setup. Nice bracket that's going to mount to the trans tunnel around the solid mount shifter. I'm also switching out my trailing arms. I'm not doing the SLG brackets, even though I do have them. I'm doing, there we go. There's the beautiful chase bays. Everybody loves them. Somebody hates them. That's fine. There's so many mixed emotions about chase bays. I don't see anything wrong with them. So I like the feel of it. Grip feels nice. The pull feels nice. So we're putting it in the car. Plus, it's not your guys' car anyways. I'm building this thing, so I'm going to show you how I'm building it. So we're switching out the rear trailing arms. I know I just did the bushings and everything in it, but I'm not welding the brackets on there. I found a set of trailing arms that has the brackets welded to it. However, they're 2.5 trailing arms or 2.3 trailing arms, which makes it to where the caliper bracket doesn't sit straight on it. So we're gonna have to mess with it because I want to run the 2.8 rotor. It's a bigger rotor, it's a vented rotor, and bigger in diameter. So it'll help us better for performance to be able to cool them down and not overheat a solid rotor and have brake fade. So that being said, we're gonna get the trailing arms off real quick and show you what we're talking about, and we'll pick it up from there. All right, and just like that, we got the trailing arms off. So currently, she's looking a little distressed back here, but you guys remember what that looks like when we did the subframe. So I'm not gonna go too much over that. I did pull the bushings back out of there, so I do have new bushings to go into the replacement trailing arms that has the brackets. But hanging on to them is backups, because I've also got the Grageistics beefy camber arms that are going in, and I was using a spare. So now these will both be spares, and I've got the Grageistics camber arms. A whole lot beefier. I'm actually really impressed with this, because this is, I pre-ordered them, so. But the finish and everything is beautiful. The spherical in there looks well put together, and I'm excited to see how these hold up with the beating, as long as I keep it on the track. So that being said, we got everything stripped down, and we didn't want to run this solid rotor that's going to overheat and seize up on us, and well, not seize up, but it's not going to perform well. It's going to get too hot and we're going to have fade. So we want to run the vented rotor. Now the calipers are identical. So good news is I don't have to disconnect the calipers that are on the car. The caliper brackets, on the other hand, are what makes the difference, and that's due to the amount of space here to clear the rotor, and we're slightly offset there by about half an inch. I've centered this up and taken a measurement. It's about half an inch. So we're gonna put some hardware together and get this thing all put together and set up how it's gonna be on the car. That way you guys can see it. It'll look a little ghetto because we're putting spacers behind it, but as long as everything's good and tight, it'll be all right. So we're gonna throw those on the car, or that on the trailing arms, before we throw them on the car. Make this easy, and I'll put the new bushings in, and we'll pick up from there. All right, as you can see, we're losing light here. It's been getting dark, but it's that hour where everything just really gets dark, and this guy has trouble seeing. But we have everything set up here, and like I said, this looks a little gaudy, but it works. So we got half-inch worth of washers there for spacers, and to make sure they're nice and true and flat, and then longer bolts to go through. There are lock washers in there to keep everything from backing off. So the nice thing is, now
that sets up this caliper bracket to where it's in dead center with the rotor. So we're looking good here. And then the calipers are the same, so I can leave the caliper that's on the car on there and just slap it on. It's this side. So I'll slap on this side. And then the other set of calipers I can mount here, and then my brake lines from the hydro will come into that, and I can run the bigger diameter and vented disc. And then we've got the Grageistic trailing arm bushings there. Great fit. These just popped right in. Of course, I did pressure wash everything before we went about this, just to make it, it's still dirty, but it's less dirty. I'm a big advocate for if the part is out and you got a pressure washer, just clean the thing. Make your life a little easier. But now that that's set up, we're going to duplicate this to that, and then we gotta just shove everything back up in there. That's the fun part. Everything going in there. And then we gotta run brake lines and bleed system and all that fun stuff that everybody enjoys. But you guys, you won't be seeing it because it's just gonna happen and it's gonna show up like now. So we're at a point where we got to put the lower control arms back in, or the camber arms, and I gotta separate the subframe just a little bit, because with the other ones there is like a millimeter difference between the width of this and the width of the new one, this one being slightly bigger. So I gotta push the bracket apart just a little bit to get this to slide in correctly. But we've got the lovely trailing arms back in, coilovers reconnected, brake line ran, sort of. We came through the floor here and then flew the floor over there, and you can see perfect circle there. Just used a hole saw and cut through it. And then I've got the other brake line that gets routed forward there. There is an issue where this is just not quite long enough, right? So I'm gonna need to make a section there that connects the two, which I've already flared this end to the double inverted bubble, whatever you want to call that thing, to match the inside of that. So now that that can connect there, I can measure how far this actually needs to reach and make the piece. Tomorrow I gotta go to parts store so that I can get the female end to connect to that, and then we'll have our straight section that actually, you know, makes all this work, so that this side can reach there and connect. So we're not quite yet done, but we are a lot further along than we were. I could not get my extended studs out of that trailing arm over here. I guess I sent them in about as good as anybody could ask for and Loctited the hell out of them. They won't come out unless I heat them, and when I do that, the threads look a little so I'm just gonna order new ones. Make sure we got good hardware on this thing, because last thing you want is a wheel to come off. Andy's proof of that. But we're not trying to do that with our car. And then you can see this side, both calipers are on there. Nothing's bled or anything yet, but we're getting there. We're making forward progress. So we're hungry. There's Michael, he's been helping me out. We're hungry. We're gonna go grab a bite to eat, and we're gonna be right back at this. And you'll catch up with us tomorrow, and it'll be daylight outside with YouTube magic. All right, y'all, I kind of lied to you. I did say I'll see you tomorrow. Actually, I think it technically is tomorrow, because yes, it's 1 a.m. It's technically tomorrow already. I decided to take a break from all the hard stuff, which we've actually made really good progress. Both calipers mounted in, everything underneath is up. I'll show you those Grageistic beefy camber arms down here. They're monstrous. So Grageistic says it's the last thing on your car that'll ever break. So we're gonna test that theory out, right? But I've got the hydro line there, and coming up through to here, and then of course y'all seen that. However, I got a little fed up with all the nonsense of that. So get ready to hit the light switch there. Get ready to hit the light switch there. So I've had these clear corners and they've been amber for the longest time, and I'm not the biggest fan of it. So what I've done, go and hit the lights, is now, gee, why do they always show up purple on the GoPro, or blue on the GoPro? They're purple. I promise, they're purple. So let's get the underglow going as well. So now I've got the green and purple up front, and we got the purple underglow. See, now the corner light looks purple and the underglow looks blue. I promise you, to the naked eye, they look like the same purple. Then again, I'm also partially colorblind, so who knows? Maybe that is the color that it's supposed to be showing. I don't know. But I'm digging it. I like it. It's a nice addition. We're gonna run with it, and that'll actually look really good for Halloween Havoc. And then when I get my livery done and have the stripes and everything, the whole car will actually tie together, and it won't look like a hot mess. But anyways, that being said, I'm gonna cut here. We're going to have a little bonfire, relax a little bit, and then tomorrow I'll have to come back into this, and we'll have to get those brake lines squared away and bled. I do still have from my inline setup, there's a couple of lines here that got teed off, and then the 2 lines up here that got teed off. So I'm going to remove the tees, and we're going to tie these lines back together again so that the factory brakes behave as the factory brakes again. And I can eliminate my inline hydro, so that way it's all set up for the dual calipers instead of being inline anymore, which will be a whole lot nicer, because if you're on the foot brake and you pull the hydro at the same time, it doesn't do what you want it to do, which is lock the rears and be able to pivot on the front end by slowing the front end down. With the inline, I've noticed if I hit the brakes while I have my inline pulled, when I let go of the inline, it does not release the rear brakes. It keeps them locked, which is a problem. So this will fix that and make it a whole lot more controllable and a whole lot more predictable and a whole lot more consistent, because I went back to the e-brake cables and just using an e-brake extension. And let me tell you, stretching e-brake cables sucks, because when you pull up on that thing, you want it to lock up, and sometimes it just sponges and springs and you got no rear lockup. So we're fixing all of these problems with this. So with that, I will see y'all in the morning. I'm gonna relax a little bit, and then I will continue hating life tomorrow. See ya. Good morning, guys. Welcome to the inside of Yoshi. So last night we stayed up a little bit later, and now it's 11 o'clock and not morning. And let me get that beeping noise out for you guys. There we go. That's a little more tolerable, ain't it? Anywho, we did a little bit more, and thank God, because this would have been annoying to deal with today and yesterday and all the mitts. It wasn't too bad. However, I wanted to get away from the 3/4 master cylinder that came on the Chase Bays hydro, and I had ordered I believe it was a 5/8 Willwood master cylinder. However, the plunger lengths are different, which is problematic, because as you pull back that plunger here, before I had to trim it down, was making contact with the hydro arm, making it to where it would lock up and stop, and it wouldn't actually get full throw. So we've got that fixed now, thank God. So now we got the plate where it needs to be. I raised my seat up because I noticed my seating position was a little too low, and that's probably contributing to my crappy driving. At least I'm going to use that as an excuse, right? Right. All right. So, wasn't thinking. I don't know where I'm going to be placing these. However, right here seems like a good home for it right now. And yeah, I had to watch out for some wiring that comes through here. A lot of it is useless stuff because of an SRS module that is no longer there, or RSM, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that's been eliminated, but all this wiring still remains, and I need to go through here and get rid of it. But that's going to wait until one day I pull this dashboard and clear everything out from behind it as well. That's not happening today because, quite frankly, we've done a lot and we don't have time or energy. So next time, when we have more time and energy, we will take care of that. You guys can actually get a better look at it today, so I'll give you a little update. It's just looking good. Looking good, looking good. And then you can see the lines for the hydro run over the trailing arm. It goes through the floor there. And it comes out the hole here, and you can see the hole there, and it comes up, and that's the center-ish, and I'm gonna make the extension. All that good stuff, that's happening today. Also, my crappy inline setup that I just kind of tossed to the floor in the back. You can see the lines that need to be retied together. This car does have two lines that come back individually for each side. So rear left has its own line, rear right has its own line. So to do the setup, I had to tie both lines coming from the front back together for the feed line to the end line, and then the return to from the end line had to go to the other two there as well. So the nice thing is the factory brake system will go back to the factory design and function as intended. So everything back here is pretty much buttoned up and done. It looks great. Honestly, I'm satisfied. I'm pleased with it. It's not a direct bolt-on like I was hoping it to be, but just like any other thing that we do with these drift cars, we got to make it work, right? Excuse the nasty quarter panel. I got to put my over fenders on. Which I have my over fenders. I just haven't done anything with them yet because this guy has no time. So box full of over fenders. So yeah, we're gonna get cracking on it. We've got that center plate to mount to the trans tunnel, and then we got to mount the hydro to the plate. And I got to run to the hardware store and pick up a brake line fitting, and I can finish the extension in the back over there. So that being said, we're gonna get back to it. And I'll give you a little update, show you any more stupid crap we have to modify to make it work, right? The joys of being in the life of a drifter with a beat up drift car. It didn't start off beat up, I promise. It was a nice car. I made it an ugly car, but I'm trying to make it nice again. So, stick around. Oh boy, that's on it. That looks like shit. Let me know when you're ready.
Ready.
All right, next. Ready?
Yep.
Too tight.
Hey, guess what?
Voila. Huh? Solid. All right, and just like that, we now have our chassis mount shifter, our bracket, our chase base hydro. And I don't hit when I go into reverse, still clearance, and have clearance from my hands. So it's real close, so I can go immediately for it when I need it, and you know, can be between gears. And of course, it's a whole lot easier to grab gear when you know, engine's running. Yep, that'll be nice. All right, still more to do. All right, guys. So something I wanted to show y'all. Cool tool. Anybody who has made their own brake lines has gone through the headache of those little handheld flare tools, and they never really work well. You end up with a lot of problems. This tool found on Amazon. I'm not sponsored or anything. I bought this with my own money, but just wanted to show you guys this little contraption here. So you have your different heads. So this one's obviously for 3/16 and double inverted. So you find the right head, and you've got this turnstile for all the different flare types, and it's listed on top. So you slide your brake line in there, you drop your head in, and you flip that over and lock it in place. Then you can tighten it down, and it clamps down on your brake line nice and tight. So then over here, if you look from this side, you can see the line sticking out and the flare type that you're going to be using. All you do is pull back on this lever here with some control. You don't just go yanking on it, but you know, you give her a nice good tug. Break her back free. Pop the lock, slide that open, lift her out, and you have a nice professional flare. I don't know if you guys can see that. There we go. So a tool that if you routinely make brake lines, this is worth getting. We'll show the cover for it over here. That way y'all know what it is. But yeah, I bought it off of Amazon, and I have been in love with it ever since. To the point where the owner of the shop that I work at, my boss, he saw this in action and went ahead and bought one for himself. So yeah, something that'll make your life a little easier, making brake lines a whole lot easier, and you get professional bubbles and flares that you know are not going to leak. All right, so had a little bit of an issue, but quick fix. Come with me. We got the hydro bench blood, so we don't have any cavitation up there. That's good. Then we got good fluid transfer up until this point here. The chase bays T-fitting there, it's got these, you know, easy spin connections here, which is really hard to find a general universal type connector for. So they had the inverted flare, or not inverted flare, the double inverted union. So I got that. However, it was too deep, so it would bottom out on the T and wouldn't seal. So I actually had to shave down. If you want to get a close-up of that, you can see how I shaved down one side of it where the T goes into.
so that it could actually bottom out and seal into the base of that union. So then we got the line that we made for the extension connected there, and we just got it under some pressure. We don't see any more leaks. Everything looks good. So now we're going to go through and we're going to gravity bleed it, which basically is we're just going to come here and open up the bleeder valves, and that is the wrong size. This is not working out very well for us today. Everything we've had to do twice. Anyways, we're going to crack the bleeders open, let it sit for a little bit until gravity brings the fluid through to here. All the air is going to come out and it'll start dripping fluid. That's when you lock them down. Of course, you don't want your reservoir to run out, so make sure that stays topped off. But we'll lock them back down and then we'll go and pressure bleed it. So that's where we're at right now. We'll get back to you when we get to the brake lines underneath. B-roll or whatever of work being done. So we're getting all this janky stuff cut off. I've already got my fittings up here, front line's already cut, and the old hydro setup has been removed. It's just a little tedious, but it's got to get done. So we're cutting these back here, and then I've got some new brake line to bridge the gap between the two, and we'll actually be able to tuck it back up into the factory bracket here. There it goes. All right, time to make some new lines. All right, guys. So as you can see here, we got the first line together. As you can see here, not here. This does not have a brake line. Anyways, so we have this brake line finished. You can see the compression fittings tying in. There's a new brake line here. We ran it back through the factory mount, so that way it all looks factory aside from these brass fittings. So we just got to duplicate that to this next one, and then we get ready to bleed the brakes. So without further ado, here she goes. And voila, she's done. All lines, both lines tied back together. Check them out right here. Looks clean. No leaks so far. Of course, we still need to bleed the system, but now that's all there is left to do is bleed the system, then we can throw the wheels on it and test her out at Halloween Havoc. So for right now, lines are done. They're back up. They're flush with the bottom of the car. Don't have to worry about it scraping. Never mind the fact that there's a big thing missing under here. That big thing that's missing is also known as an exhaust. I will be making one for the car. I know it's obnoxious, but I will be making one for the car. I don't think it'll happen before Halloween Havoc, but oops, didn't mean to hit you guys. Yeah, I don't think it'll happen before Halloween Havoc, but I'm going to try to get it done before next season. For right now, I'm just trying to get this thing ready for Havoc and catch my drift the following weekend afterwards. So, anyways, let's go ahead and bleed these brakes, shall we? Alrighty, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that. So, car's done. Hydro's mounted. Just do a little recap here.
Hydro's mounted, no leaks. We got the brake lines. Ran back here. Oh, I gotta pick that up. A little bit of trash. So that's all straightened out. The fucking bundled mess that was the inline that was on the floor over there is gone. Thank God. That was annoying. No stress on this. I'm gonna mount it so that this doesn't move, but I don't want it to be tight down here because as the trailing arm moves up and down, I don't want it cutting away at the line. So that's all copacetic. Then we got both the calipers here. Everything's bled. Foot brake works great. Hand brake works great. I was able to roll it in first gear and off the clutch, pull the e-brake and stall the car out, so we know we got good lockup. And yeah, we got the Grageistic camber arms, lower control arms, whatever you want to call them. And of course we put the new bushings and the trailing arms up there. So everything under here is all buttoned up, tight and good to go. So she's ready for Halloween Havoc. Lovely right there. I need to put my over fenders on. That is hideous. That ain't good. Anyways, we're gonna go enjoy a pumpkin patch with the kids, and we got some friends coming over to join us for that. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys may have learned something. Check out a really cool tool. Like I said, if anybody does their own brake lines, makes their own brake lines on a routine basis, I mean, that tool is unbeatable. I love it. I mean, it fits right into a vise. Pull a lever, your flare, your bubble's made, and you just rock on. But yeah, so another episode here, just knocking out project after project. That'll come sometime soon, hopefully, maybe, I don't know. If the money shows up, I'll take care of the Miata and the 240. There's too much shit to do here. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll see you on the next one, which will probably be Halloween Havoc. See ya.